everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another one of my gay gamer video podcasts. Quick movie review to start. I went to see Frozen 2, which is good. It's not, a Disney classic for the ages, but it's thoroughly entertaining and perfectly fine. The visuals are stunning, with some absolutely amazing effects. I just wish that the writers had spent a little more time polishing up the story and the script to make it as strong as the visuals that the animators were going to provide. Olaf is usually the most annoying character in the film, but this time around they switched it up a little and they made it Anna. She is super clingy and super annoying and all up her sister's ass, and I'm just like, oh my god, back off. Like, your sister's the one with the superpowers. Maybe let her handle some stuff. Like, she's not, she acts like she has to be the one to save the day. And it's like, Elsa's got the powers. Do you think maybe let her do some stuff? But at least at the end of the film, Anna becomes the strong female character she used to be. And, takes charge and, finds her strength and whatever and acts on her own. So she served a purpose, as opposed to Kristoff, who is absolutely useless and serves no purpose in this film. His subplot is completely... I don't think anyone cares about it, honestly. But he kind of has to be in the movie because he got the best musical number. The songs are good. There's nothing as catchy as Let It Go, but they're good. And I feel like there were more of them, so it felt more like a musical than the first one, where halfway through they just made a movie and forgot to put songs in. But he gets the best number. It's not the best song, per se, but the visuals that go with it, I wouldn't listen to it on the soundtrack, but the way they do it in the movie with the visuals, it's perfection. It is hilarious perfection, and I love it. So, keep an eye out for that when you see it, because it's the best part of the movie. As for games, I legit meant to play The Outer Worlds. I swear I wanted to play The Outer Worlds. And I specifically told myself, don't play Dragon Quest on the train ride home, because that's what always screws you up. Because you play it, and then you come home, and you need to finish whatever you were doing, and you get all caught up in it, and then you don't play anything else at home. And you just keep playing Dragon Quest. So I deliberately said, don't play Dragon Quest. That way you'll come home fresh, you just put in Outer Worlds, no problem. Unfortunately, I came home, and I found that my import of my 3D Blu-ray of Spider-Man Far From Home had arrived, so I wanted to watch that again in glorious 3D, and so there was no Outer Worlds. I did play Outer Worlds, though, later in the week. I did actually get around to playing it, and I had said last time I expressed my concern about the difficulty spike, it turned out to be a false alarm, and it was fine, and I went through a whole other section, and everything was fine, and it wasn't that bad, and it's good. But I didn't play a lot of the Outer Worlds because of Dragon Quest. Because the weather's been crap, so I was playing it at lunch, on my lunch break at work. I didn't want to go out in the rain, so I'd sit there and play Dragon Quest. And I got to the point where I realized that I was gathering the items in order to forge the powerful weapon to defeat the big bad. And by the time I actually forged it's called the Sword of Light, but oh my god, it looks like the Master Sword, I'm just saying. I forged the Sword of Light, and then they're like, alright, let's go to the bad guy's palace and kick his ass. And I'm like, okay. So, we arrived at the big bad's headquarters, and I thought to myself, let's just do it. Don't put it aside and put it on, just do it. So I worked my way through the dungeon, and it took a while, it took a couple days. It's a big dungeon, lots of bad guys to fight, and they're tough. And eventually got to the end. You fight his lackey is a warm-up, and then it was time to go and fight Morrigan face to face. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. But I made a big mistake because I was doing this on Saturday evening, afternoon and evening, and I was making dinner, and did not leave myself enough time to beat the bad guy because all of a sudden dinner was ready, and I was still in the middle of the boss fight because it took forever, and I I had like, I swear to God, like I was like, oh, it's a half an hour or so, that'll be fine. It was not enough time. So I had to come back after dinner, and then we watched TV and a movie, and then I put it back on again before I went to bed. I was like, let me just wrap this up and see if I can get through this boss fight. Because also, the first section was fine. Then he came back stronger than before, and it was a lot rougher. And he actually did a super powerful attack that like killed everyone dead. All dead. They're all dead. And I went, oh crap, now I gotta start over. And I'm like thinking, hopefully it'll start me at the second section. I don't have to fight the beginning Mortigan, and I'll just fight the second Mortigan and hope there's not a third. But what actually ended up happening is everyone got wiped out, and my backup characters who I weren't using in that battle, they came into the forefront, and they're like, hey, we'll take over now. And I didn't realize that the backup team would take over if the entire front team had gotten killed. So I was able to use them. I wasn't using them because they weren't as powerful. So I wasn't using them, but they were enough to keep Mortigan at bay while I swapped in one character at a time to have Serena bring them back to life and heal them and get them going again. And I was able to win. So it was good because it wasn't like it took me like I kept dying and then I'd have to start over and then I would die and then I would start over and try different strategies and it was really frustrating and then it took me a long time to do it. I did it in the one sitting, well, 2 sittings because I had dinner in the middle, but it was hard enough to be challenging and I really struggled at the end, but I did pull it out by the skin of my teeth. But it wasn't too difficult that it got frustrating. But it wasn't too easy. I mean, the first section was surprisingly quick and easy, and I was like, well, that was too easy, and then, of course, the second part is really hard. So it wrapped up, and then there were credits, and I'm like, credits? Okay, I'm done. But I knew I wasn't done. And there's like a little video going as the credits scroll. You're not looking at the credits because you're looking at this video of like epilogues and wrapping up stuff and things with the characters. And then it's like, okay, you're done, save your game. I saved my game. And then it takes me to the title screen, and I'm like, no, where's my endgame content? So you have to actually start the game again and load that previous save, and then it brings you into... Because it was like, after everything happened, Chris and his companions go to Arborea to, you know, and it's like, to be continued. It literally says to be continued. And then it goes to the title screen, you come back, you load your game, and it's like, Chris and his friends go to Arborea. And now here's the rest of some more story. And I haven't really dug into the post-game content yet, but I will be doing that. However, I had originally thought that this game was going to take even longer. I'm at like 63 hours and change, which is super solid for an RPG. I know people were talking about like 100 hours, but I think they did all the side quests, and they probably walked a lot of places instead of teleporting, because I'm lazy, I teleport. But I had originally thought that I would be playing Dragon Quest on the long bus ride to my sister's for Thanksgiving. However, now I'm like, that might not be happening, because I might finish it before then, and there won't be any more post-game content, and I'm assuming that once you wrap up the epilogue story, that you'll maybe, you know, I don't know if it'll end, or if you'll still be able to go back and explore and do various side quests that you didn't do yet. You know, just so you could just keep exploring Erdrea over and over again, which I wouldn't mind that, because I would like to pop in from time to time just because it's lovely and beautiful and I'd like to revisit it. But being that I wasn't sure that was going to get me to Thanksgiving, I went and bought a new game, which was Luigi's Mansion 3. Because I had been thinking that, like, there's a bunch of games I want to play. I want to play this, I want to play Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, I want to play Witcher 3, but I wanted something short. Like, The Witcher 3 is going to take a long time, and Zelda might take me a while too. But I'm like, Luigi's Mansion 3 shouldn't take me as long as a 60-hour RPG. Just figuring not. I'm thinking this is more of like one of those 20 to 30-hour games. But we'll see. You will also notice that it is still in its shrink wrap. Have not opened it yet, because I'm not going to break the shrink wrap until I finish Dragon Quest. Otherwise, I'll be like, oh, well, let me just try it, and I'll test it out and see how it plays, and then I'll go back and finish Dragon Quest, because no, I will not be going back to finish Dragon Quest. Although in this case I love Dragon Quest, so I probably would. But typically when I start a new game, I don't finish the game that I interrupted. But I wanted to buy it because I wanted to get it at GameStop. Normally I buy my games at Best Buy, but now that I no longer have my Gamers Club discount, it doesn't matter. Because normally I would go get it like at lunch, I would go around the corner to Best Buy and save my 20%. But now I'm like, psh, it's going to cost me the same no matter where I go. Amazon, GameStop, Best Buy, it's all going to be the same $60. So I went to GameStop because I had traded in a bunch of games when we moved to this new apartment. And I had a gift card with like, I don't know, like 70 or 80 bucks on it or something ridiculous. So I was like, I have a lot of credit, let's go use that credit. So I went to GameStop, I traded in another game, got another 25 bucks, and bought myself a Luigi's Mansion 3. So hopefully I will be talking about that next week. So next episode will be the final wrap-up of Dragon Quest, and perhaps some thoughts on Luigi's Mansion on the Switch. Come back then, and I'll tell you all about it. Bye!